yeah, just when you have obstacles, turn it into opportunities, and she's just really all about finding the joy in things, even when times get hard.
Good evening and good day to you. I am with Miss Mandi Newton with Varsity Painting. I have known her, or I met her probably 6 years ago, probably. We met through Boma, Silicon Valley originally, and then she was a nice one to invite me to BCN East Bay, and sadly I couldn't ever join BCN Silicon Valley, but I've always really appreciated her and her ability to let me pick her brain. So welcome, Miss Mandy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I wanted you to introduce Varsity Painting and what all the great stuff that you guys do.
Sure. So Varsity Painting is a painting contractor located in Walnut Creek, and we service the 9 Bay Area counties. We work with a lot of HOAs, apartments, and commercial, doing interior and exterior painting. We've been in business since 1993, and I've actually been there since 2007. So I just had my 14-year anniversary.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I start in marketing and business development / sales, working for Hanson Beverage Company.
Oh,
and
wow.
When like Red Bull first came out, Hanson's came out with a small little green energy drink can. And so I worked for them for, look at you, yeah, the competitor, for a couple of years doing that. And then I actually had moved to Florida, promoting that, working as a co-op with Hanson's and Arizona Iced Tea. And then they decided to start this small division called Monster Energy Drink. And so they actually moved me to Los Angeles, and I was the first employee of Monster Energy Drink. They called me the Monster Maven. So the Maven is like an expert of all. And so I had LA, San Diego, and Las Vegas promoting Monster, primarily in, they call it on-premise accounts, which is like the nightclub type scene, instead of, where I had gone from doing, your 7-Elevens and Circle K's, those type of businesses, to actually doing it in more of the restaurant and nightclub field. So that was an interesting time in my life, but super fun. And I loved, going to all of the different sponsored events, the motocross and wakeboarding and all that type of stuff. And, I had a big monster truck that I would drive around. So that was super cool. But that's how I got my start in marketing. And then I moved back to the Bay Area and got a job with a restoration company. And I was their regional manager. So I had all of the Bay Area and Sacramento. I think I had 6 reps working for me doing restoration. And then I actually met my boss at a trade show, and we just hit it off and, started a conversation. And 6 months later, decided to join their team. And now 14 years later, here we are. So
I love it. Yeah. Honestly, all of that just kind of ties in your personality for me so much more, I guess.
You're like, I get it now.
Yeah. No, you totally, like, I could just imagine you riding around in your monster truck and just killing it. I love it. So you're in a lot of associations, obviously BCN East Bay, BCN East, Silicon Valley, Boma, East Bay. But are you in Boma, Silicon Valley? What are the other ones that you?
Yeah, I'm not a member of Silicon Valley, but I do participate in their events when I'm, able to. Yeah, when I started with the company, I researched trade organization, and I think I was a member of like 13 of them. And some of them, have multiple chapters. I just cast this huge net and I wanted to see what worked. And so now I've, kind of downsized from that. But some of the trade organizations, I'll attend their events if I'm available, and that it seems like it'll be have good ROI. But so yeah, BCN Silicon Valley was the first one that I joined, and then I actually founded the East Bay chapter. I believe in 2013. It was right before I had my second son. So that's still going strong. And in the commercial world, I'm only a member of Boma, East Bay, Actually, you know what? We did not renew our membership this year. We decided just to take a break this year, but still participate in the events. But we really had to kind of weigh what was working for us the best and where we were going to put our dollars this year. And I love the group. I love the organization. I've served on many of their committees, but for 2021, we are just taking a back seat from that, but we will be back. But we do IRUM and, the IFMA events and CRE on the commercial side. On the apartment side, we're members of the California Apartment Association. And we also do events with the Rental Housing Association. They also have multiple chapters. And then on the HOA side, we're heavily involved with CAI and CACM.
So for me, and I know I've asked you this in the past, but has it changed? So I feel like Varsity in general has a heavy emphasis in the HOA organizations, and I assume it's because it's more lucrative and it has more of an ROI for you guys because you are painting interior, exterior, so that it makes sense. Has it changed at all for throughout the year for just because of COVID? Is commercial more popular? Is it not? Or
yeah, no, I would say that it really is the same. HOA for us has really been our bread and butter. And that's probably, we were trying to put percentages on it earlier this year, actually. And it's probably 65, 70% of what we do. And then the other, 30, 35% would be kind of split between apartment and commercial. And we love those markets, so I'm going to continue marketing to them. But definitely HOA has always been, the strongest for us.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. Even though I've never been a residential girl, I've always been curious because you guys have great parties and do fun stuff. And the conferences look really cool. You guys had what was it? It wasn't Remo because that was something. It was something different for the CACM with the avatars and stuff. What was that?
With the avatar? Oh yeah. So CACM launched this new online program called their CM World. And it's really state of the art. It's like playing a video game. The graphics were phenomenal, but yeah, you created your own little personal avatar and you actually went to this event, where there was the expo hall where we had our trade show booths and you could walk around and you could go into, the conference room, general session and, all the different individual meeting rooms where there would be different presenters. And if you were presenting, your little avatar would be in the front of the room, actually giving the presentation. So it was a trip, but it was really cool, and kudos for them to really, just try to think outside the box of, how you can still kind of see one another and engage with one another. It was really neat. It had some, technical difficulties that they had to work through. But it was really cool. It was something, different that, I haven't really seen before.
Yeah. I've never seen it before either. So that's why I was curious. Were there any other cool events that you really liked from the year or maybe some that you hosted?
Yeah. That was probably, as far as what the trade organizations have done, that one was, probably the most exciting and different. BOMA East Bay has been using a software as well. Is that the one Remo that you were talking about, I think too? So I did an event with them. And so that was kind of cool because you could, move from table to table and kind of see everybody. So that was really neat that they're using that, that type of software. And then, for our BCN groups, it's just been really cool to, we've done craft beer nights and we've done wine tasting and we've done murder mystery and, just coming up with different types of ideas to bring us all together. And so those have been really fun too. At my kids' school, we're actually doing a taco bingo night. And I'm super, it was always one of the funnest events like at the school. And so their student council is going to be doing it, virtual. And so I'm looking forward to it. That's always been kind of fun. So
That is super cute.
We'll see how it goes.
Are they gonna provide like any kits or anything, or are you guys all just eating tacos and then playing bingo at this point?
I think they're going to provide the bingo cards and that'll be all online. And then we'll just have to, supply our own tacos.
That's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. I'm thinking, you've had several, I feel like, committee-ships, like positions. What have you done? Have you won any awards? Have you hosted anything that you've been super proud of that you'd like to share?
Sure. Okay. You're putting me on the spot. I wish I was in my office so I could look back to the awards I've won. But there's been a few. With IREM, I won their Member of the Year award once, and so that was really cool. And then the others mostly have been with CAI. I also, I had won their Rising Star Award. I've won some of their Committee of the Year awards. And one that I'm really proud of, and unfortunately that committee no longer exists in the way that it was, but I'm still doing a lot of the same work. But it was my CAI Cares Committee. And so it was the philanthropic arm of the chapter. And so it was great because we teamed up with Family Giving Tree. Twice a year, we did their backpack and back to school drive every summer. And in the winter, we did their holiday wish drive, providing, gifts to children and low income seniors. So that was always really awesome. And so my committee was awarded with an award one year. And so that was really cool.
That's awesome. You've always had a heavy emphasis on philanthropy. Sorry, I knew I was going to have an issue saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what you do every Halloween and that organization and I don't know if you do more than that too, but that's one.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one that you're talking about in Halloween is for the Children's Tumor Foundation. And Varsity is really big supporters of that nonprofit, as well as another one called BioSolutions, and that's also for children's tumor research. My boss's daughter, Camille Toms, has a condition called NF2. It's neurofibromatosis, and it's where tumors grow on the inside of her body. And so she's had several surgeries, brain surgery and removing tumors in her ear. She's an awesome, thriving young woman. She inspires me every day. She's just awesome. But so every Halloween, we do our big Halloween bash. And on average, every year we raise about $100,000. And it's been really cool because we've been able to incorporate our clients and colleagues into this and really make it a fun, just super fun, awesome event. And so this last year, obviously we went virtual, but in years past, it would always be at a nightclub and we would have different bands. We even had like the English Beat perform 2 separate years, which, was a popular 80s band. Probably you're too young for it, but great entertainment and, silent and live auctions. And our industry friends have all been able to do sponsored tables and then invite clients. Our friend Alicia, when she was with Bowers and now C3 Transportation, always sponsored us with buses, and we would be able to bring people in from the South Bay and from the East Bay to our location. So just an awesome event. And this last year when we went virtual, what was really cool about it is, one, anybody could participate from anywhere, the comfort of their homes. But we were able to also get quite a few celebrities that were able to be a part of it because they didn't have to actually be live at the event. So that was really exciting to get, some bigger names there to support us.
Yeah, definitely. I remember seeing, I was like, oh, I really want to go there. And then obviously I couldn't, but and who was it? Who was the, like, because you had several.
John Stamos, cool. Bob Saget, Dave Coulier. And then in February, we also do the Cupid's Undie Run. And so the first couple of years it was in San Francisco, and then the last 2 years was in Oakland. And it was, just under a mile run, walk, But it was super fun because it was
Are
a
you in your
pre-party and an
undies?
after party, and we're all in our undies.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's the main, you know, a big nonprofit that we support. And then through the years, like I said, we've done a lot of work with Family Giving Tree for their backpack and back to school drive. We've supported Stand for families free of violence, Shelter Inc., which is a local shelter system in Contra Costa County. We have done Wardrobe for Opportunity. We've done Project Night Night.
So many things. I honestly love the fact that, like, because you are just such a giving person on your own, and the fact that your company allows you to follow that.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, that they've always been really supportive of like my own personal philanthropic efforts. And it's awesome that I can do a lot of that through work. And then personally, because like that CARES committee was dissolved, I picked it up at my children's school. So now I started their first ever serve committee, and I also chair our sister school committee. So we have Cesar Chavez in Richmond that we support every year. And then with the serve committee, you know, we do different philanthropic events around. And so it's awesome to, you know, start them young, right? And get our kids involved, you know, because sometimes, you know, they don't realize how good they have it. And I really want them, you know, to open their eyes and let them know, you know, of all the blessings that they have, and, you know, and that it's great to be able to serve and to help others.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. You do so much. I know that I've always known that you've done so much, but like, I feel like I'm learning more today, which is nice. Let's talk about your family really quick.
Sure. The family's good. Everyone's healthy. Our schools have actually gone back to a hybrid schedule, but we had to make the decision several months ago about what we were going to do. And so we opted to keep them remote. It just worked better for our family because the school, they're not back in full days. It's only like 3 hours on, 3 hours off. And we didn't know if they would be an AM or PM. And we would have to, you know, either pick up or drop off middle of the day. And that was going to be challenging with both my husband and I working from home. So we've continued to keep them at home, but my mother-in-law actually has had both of her vaccines because she works in healthcare, but she's able to come during the day and help me with my first grader, Tanner. So that's a huge help to have, you know, some assistance there. And then I also have a third grader, Tyler, who, you know, luckily is more independent, but they're doing really good. And, you know, I try to focus on the silver linings. You know, a lot of times with working full time, you know, I wouldn't really be as involved with what was going on with them and in their class. You know, I would try to volunteer in the class once a while, or, you know, for a field trip or something, but I felt, you know, I was kind of out of the loop with that a lot. So as challenging as it might be, you know, some days are better than others. It has been nice to be able to connect with my kids and know where they're at. And, you know, just this last year, you know, especially Tanner and first, I've really been able to see him blossom with reading. And he is this like fantastic reader, you know, that knows how to, you know, emphasize things and change his voice and do characters. And it's really cool. So, so we're doing good with that. And our family loves to camp. So we're pretty lucky. We have a fifth wheel trailer. And so we go camping a lot and dirt bike riding, and we got a boat this summer. So boating, you know, when the weather is nice, and, you know, just trying to stay busy.
We're going to be getting a boat this year, probably. So whenever you come out to Texas, we'll go out, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Nice. I would love that.
Eli's definitely like, I want our kids to have a boat life and like be all about it. And I want you to learn how to wake surf. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wake surfing's the best. So fun. So fun. And easier on your body too.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I've never actually been on a board in the water ever, other than like a tube.
Jet ski or a tube. Yeah.
I've been on a jet ski. I don't think I've ever driven it though. I don't know why. I mostly don't trust myself, I think is the thing. I normally would ask you about your trials and tribulations through the year, but you're about to do that webinar. So I will just push that onto there. Or is it a free event or is it a?
It's not a free event. There is a small cost involved. And if you're a manager member, I know that it is cheaper. CAI, and it is the effects that the pandemic has had on working parents. But we are going to discuss all sorts of things. So it's inclusive for all, and just the challenges that, the pandemic has had on everyone. A lot of our clients manage huge staffs, and a lot of our clients, we're so used to working in the office. And so, just the differences from learning to work from home. And it's also International Women's Month. And so we're going to highlight a little bit about that, and, just how we have so many awesome women in our industry, and, how many hats that they wear, working full time, kids doing remote learning, and then the normal things that come into,
Life
life
that has been interrupted.
Yeah, and running a household and all of that. So yeah, it's on March 16th. So cool. I'm pretty excited about it. But I do have a free event coming up on March 24th, and it's preparing for your next painting project. And so it'll be myself, our owner, Roland Toms, our vice president, Brian Teal, and Greg Morgan from Kelly Moore. And we just talk about, the beginning to the end stages of doing a paint project. And if you have building concerns like wood rot that need to be addressed, or color selection, working with colors and doing digital renderings, and all of that. So that is a free event, and we are providing lunch via DoorDash. And so, yeah, that'll be on March 24th.
Cool. And then how would viewers be able to do that? They just email you? Or
yeah, just email me, and then at Mandy@varsitypainting.com, and I can send them the link to Eventbrite to register. And I know you're not doing HOA, but I chair the golf tournament with CAI as well. And so that's coming up in June. And so that's pretty cool, because that's going to be our first in-person event since last February.
It's so crazy. Do you remember what the last event, like person to person event that you went to?
I think so. I'm pretty sure it was a CAI luncheon at the Pleasanton Marriott. And they would host those quarterly. And so I'm pretty sure that was like the first Friday in March or something. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was like a week or two before we shut down. I'm almost positive that was the last like in-person event that we did.
Are you a little nervous?
I am. It's a cross between really excited. I want to see people. And then there's a little bit of nerves that go into it. CACM actually did a golf tournament last summer. And so I think if it's a golf tournament or any type of outdoor event, I think that you're really, going to be safe. And so I really wasn't nervous about that. I'm not too nervous about the upcoming golf tournaments, because you're outside, you're able to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I do have to say, once, the beverages started flowing, people got more comfortable, and they were coming in for a hug and didn't have a mask. And it was like, so I just had to make sure I had mine on for my protection.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that was the only thing. But I think the golf, I think that's a really easy one. With CAI, I also am on a committee for our Ladies Tea event. And the last couple of years, well, that's always been indoor. So it was at the Palm Event Center. The last couple of years, it's been at the Black Hawk Auto Museum. And this year, so we've been looking for a new venue where it can be outdoors. So I think that they've chosen the Hayes Mansion in San Jose, where they, can have a large outdoor space. And now we're just kind of trying to figure out, how does that work with food and beverage?
Yeah. I would be nervous to have a person-to-person for the virus aspect, but it would be more of a, oh my goodness, I am so excited. Do I even know how to talk to a human in person anymore?
You're so funny. Yeah, actually this last weekend, two colleagues of mine took 2 clients out, and we did lunch and wine tasting in Livermore. So there were 5 of us. And it was a trip, because it's been months and months and months. I think the whole year, I had taken, 3 clients to lunch, and that was last summer when we, had very minimal cases, and it was one client, and I knew that we would just be having lunch and we'd be socially distanced. But so this was kind of the largest, thing with clients that I've partaken in. But it was all people that I know and trust, and that have been really, really careful. So, right. But speaking of like these larger events, I mean, you just can't really vouch for everybody. It only takes one, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah. No, I know it's interesting because, like you said, you were going to skip over the questions because I'm doing that presentation. But just to touch base on that quickly, it's interesting all of the different challenges that people have had. Some and most people will comment like, wow, how are these working parents doing it? Kind of like they have it worse out of everybody, juggling working from home and remote learning and everything else that goes into that. And it really is challenging. But you're right. You just, hit the nail on the head with there's some people that have been, they're single and, dealing with those issues of loneliness, right? They don't, have a partner that they live with or children to take care of. And now not going into work, they don't have their colleagues that they're used to socializing with or going to the industry events where they see, clients, colleagues, what have you. And so that's taken a toll on a lot of people too. And so, I think, like you said, going to, to an event, I think it'll be, people will be nervous, but also excited. And then what are those nerves based on? Is it, like you said, the virus, or just being social with people once again in person?
Yeah. I mean, me, I just get so excited. I kind of do this like weird dance. I feel like if I was a chihuahua, I would pee everywhere, but like,
Nice.
but I'm not, thankfully. And I can control myself a little bit, but I feel like I'm excited. Like, I'm excited for whenever I can come back. Originally I was going to come out every other month. I don't know how that looks now at this point in time, but I do still hope that I'm going to come to a couple of events throughout the year. And just see everybody. I want to hug everybody. I just want to,
right.
like, I don't know, just see you guys, which is also like, I'm really grateful for this because then I can catch up and at least know what's happening and not be completely forgotten. But
right.
It's fun. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah, good for you. It's awesome.
Did you learn anything this year, like that you don't think you would have otherwise?
That I'm not as patient as I thought I was.
I've heard that
My
a lot.
buttons have definitely been pushed. I'll tell you, there's been some days that have been really, really difficult. But I've learned that it's okay to ask for help. I've always just been one of those people that it's like, I'll just do it. I'll just handle it. I know how I want it. I know it needs to be done, and I'll just do it. And so asking for help has never been one of my strengths. And so I've learned that it is okay to reach out and ask for help. And thank goodness, having a network and, family or clients or colleagues that can step up and help if it's a personal or professional, issue.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting because I feel like knowing you definitely would grab the reins a little bit more. Have you been surprised by how much somebody else could do stuff for you? Is that that's the way that I'm going to ask it.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. But yeah, I have an assistant at work for the first time, kind of ever. I've had people kind of come and go and help with different things, or somebody in the office that was able to help with certain things. But I have a gal that is just a rock star. And I give her a project and she just gets it done and does it well. And, because sometimes that's where I get kind of nervous, is giving somebody a project and then I find out that they didn't do it the way I wanted it done, or they screw it up. Right. And I have to go back and fix it. So yeah, it's been awesome to be able to have somebody that, can help and do it well and just knock it out of the park. So that's been a huge help, having that at work. And then, having my mother-in-law, be able to come and help with my son in school. I still, work from home because, the tech part of it isn't, her strength. But, she's loves our kids and loves us and is so intelligent and very well read and is so able to help with, the schooling part of it. But if there's any type of, technical issue, I need to be nearby.
Yeah, definitely. Do you ever go into the office still, or?
I do. Yeah, I have. I actually have my own private office in our office that I'm able to go to. And so typically Mondays is our, at school is like our kids' early day out. And so I'm usually able to go after they get out and work on any projects that I need to at work. And I'm definitely available, I'm allowed to go there anytime that I want to. But I am all set up at home now, it took a little while, but getting the dual monitors and getting all the ergonomic, equipment. So, and using software like TeamViewer so I can access my work computer at work in case there's a document or a spreadsheet or something that I need from there. So I can go, but it's,
you still have the
don't have
luxury
to.
of being able to work from home, which is, I think, the coolest thing that's come out of this pandemic.
Mhm.
There's actually several things that I really like about the pandemic, like, even though it's hard to say because I feel bad for saying it because it was also a terrible year for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah.
But there's also so much good. And me, I'm very much silver lining. Let's focus on the positive. And
Totally. I'm there with you.
I think the flexibility for people, especially like you that work so hard and do so many things, like it's making your life so much easier. So it's nice to see for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you with like focusing on the silver linings. And I think that there's been a bunch in our industry, talking to clients, that used to commute just thousands of miles like every week, getting from home to work and back or to events and back, they're not spending all that time in the car and on the road and really using their time more efficiently. I mean, as soon as they get up and go to log in, they're, at work. So that's been a big blessing. And I know that there's been a lot of companies that never, ever thought that they could work from anywhere else than behind their desk in that office, and so they were forced to figure it out. And now that they've done that and found out that they're, able to do that, it's been awesome. I know on the HOA side, a lot of my clients that have nighttime board meetings, this has been a game changer for them because they would work all day and then they would have to drive, during traffic hours, usually an hour to two to get to this board meeting, have a couple hour board meeting, and then would have to travel a couple hours home and still turn around and be back in the office by 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So, so now with everybody having to figure out Zoom or Google Meet or, whatever it is, they're able to have, their board meetings really at any time. I mean, they could even do it on their lunch break or something, but if it's after hours, as soon as that meeting's over, the manager's home and not having, to commute. You want me just words of advice?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. Turning obstacles into opportunity and staying grounded and joyful. Just when you have obstacles, turn it into opportunities, and she's just really all about finding the joy in things, even when times get hard.
I think
What is your motto?
Ooh, right now.
You have one specific thing? Yeah.
No, I think like I change it a lot, but I've definitely been heavily emphasizing on self-care and fighting that internal imposter syndrome, which is the thing. And so like really stop doubting yourself, like just stop. And because you're the only one that's really like talking yourself out of succeeding at that point, and you are not allowing yourself to thrive. And it's very self-implosive.
Mine has always been, and actually it came from, we were talking about philanthropy. And so it came up when I was trying to come up with a tagline for that CARES committee that I started. And it's one person can make a difference. And so, and that can mean so many things, right? It's one person can make a difference in one person's life or so many people's lives, or even to yourself, right? I mean, just having that positive voice in your head, you know, versus the negative talk.
Mhm. Mhm. I think, again, now it's a whole other tangent, but I definitely had this conversation with Diane on my recent episode, and we were talking about how I feel like it's become more open and less taboo to talk about mental health, which is super, super important, because now you can actually have a dialogue with somebody. And I know that you were always somebody that would kind of like pull me aside and be like, "Are you okay?" Like, "Yeah, I'm okay."
Yeah,
Like, "Thank you." And I really appreciate it. And I
sure.
very much appreciate you. And so I hope that, you know, you are one of the ones that have changed me. So
Aw, thanks, friend. Well, you're amazing, and I'm proud of you. And
I really appreciate you. And I am very thankful for you to be on here. And I know it was kind of a little bit of a struggle bus to get here. But in the future, would love to showcase any of your projects that you are working on. Maybe later on the year, we can do like a catch up or whatever. And hopefully it's in person. But if not, then also it's okay. We can still make.
thanks so much for having me, Vanessa. This has been super fun. Mandi Newton with Varsity Painting, and my email is mandy@varsitypainting.com.
Woo, thank you again.
Yay, thank you, friend.